I love how he's learning it.
Did you hit the red button?
I hit the red button. Yeah,
You're live.
Hey,
this is new.
Sherry's live.
That's live.
Oh, it's so much faster than OBS. Oh, we're actually live.
Yeah.
Hey guys, how's it going?
3 million
Hope
subs,
everyone-
learning how to stream finally.
Yeah, I've never used this thing before, so it's like last night I bought the thing and the membership, so now we can have 10 people. Which is so talking to Jaron, it was kind of limiting. Anyways, welcome to the stream, guys. How are you all doing? Today we have a whole bunch of guests coming in. We're gonna chat. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna raise some money. I see we've already raised I think over $1,000. 23?
26.
What? It doesn't show me. I can't see unless I like open it up on like some other.
Yeah, if you open it up on the actual YouTube tab, it gives you the reaction right there. So that's great.
Somebody just donated $1,000.
Yeah, if you open it up on the.
Holy
Somebody-
crap,
That
dude!
was me. Sorry, that was me.
There you go.
Boomer.
Oh, that's
Sweet,
sweet.
Oh
dude.
wow.
Holy
Yeah.
crap!
Wow.
2,700.
Wow. I might have to change the goal.
Did you talk to Doomcock, Gary?
I did. He's there's a storm at the center of the earth right now, and his internet is down.
Oh, wow.
If we send him the link, he'll try to make it. And yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to do our thing. So yeah. That's,
Okay, so to give people some context, I was over at Echo Base Network last night. They said some very nice stuff about with 3 million subs. Yeah, they said some nice stuff about me with everything that's been going on, and they invited me on their show, and I got to talk to a lot of these beautiful men right here, and I figured, hey, you know what? Let's have them on the show for tomorrow for today's live stream. So here we are. We don't really have an agenda of what we're going to talk about. We're just going to talk Star Wars and let the conversation gravitate to whatever it may. And in the process, hopefully, help some sick kids out there, and maybe this will become a regular thing. We'll do this, every few weeks.
$3,200. Look at that.
That's crazy. I might have to change this to 20 grand at this rate.
Killing it, man.
All the proceeds, according to YouTube, go towards the charity. So when I signed up for this fundraiser thing, YouTube said they cover 100% of the costs. Usually with super chats, they take 30%. So I guess that's not the case, which makes it more legit. So how are you guys doing?
Doing good, man.
Good.
We appreciate you having us on. Obviously, everybody knows you and I have been, hanging out. We can't get away from each other recently.
Can't get away from it. Yeah. So
and-
we've addressed it on your channel and,
Yeah.
and Jay's channel. Should we address it here?
Might as well.
All right. You do it. I feel it. I did it last time, so you do it.
All right. So basically, a lot of people didn't know this, but Theory and I mean, some people knew that we were cool. A couple years ago, back when his Vader fan film was coming out, he invited me out, and we hung out, and we had a falling out. We didn't publicize it, and we didn't speak for a while. And eventually, after everything happened with Pablo Hidalgo's situation, I made some videos. The very first one I made, I kind of took some jabs at him indirectly. And then I watched this live stream. He was talking about it. He kind of took a few back at me. And then that night I thought about texting him and just say, hey, do we need to hash this out? But I didn't do it. And the following day, he emails me and Drunk 3PO, basically just said, hey, guys, I'd like to talk. I appreciate you guys covering the story.
I don't know how I got in the middle of all that.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle now.
Drunk 3PO's
Yeah,
in the
you're
middle of
now, man.
everything. He's in the middle of everything. And within about 30 minutes of me getting that email, I shot him a text. I said, hey, you want to give me a call? Calls me. 10 minutes. We hashed it out. And then we started talking about Star Wars and just what each other's been up to in our lives. And it's over and it's done and we're good. And we want people to kind of see, like, if you have problems with people, just pick up the phone and talk to them. It's pretty simple. And both of us were really stubborn and could have talked about this prior, but we just decided to be childish about it. And now here we are, and we're trying to do some really cool things and show people that if you have disagreements, you can work it out in private. And now I'm on a stream for the first time with someone more famous than me, Drunk 3PO.
we all are.
And we got a lot more people coming in too, so stay tuned for that. So,
Yep.
How many times I got to remind everybody it's Mrs. Gina Carano?
so as mod, since I'm new to this, can I change his name? Or is that no, I don't get that power.
You don't get that power, I don't think.
If someone donates $1,000, Jay has to change his channel name to.
We didn't agree on anything.
It's for kids, bro. Come on.
Hey, I dressed in drag for you, sir.
All right, so who,
peer pressure.
let's start
Yes.
this discussion. Something to do with Star Wars. Who wants to
Hey.
start it off?
I am a big fan of Dave Filoni. I will unapologetically let everyone know that. I love what he did with the Clone Wars Season 7, the final 4 episodes specifically. Some of the best Star Wars I've seen. I have some issues with The Mandalorian, but overall, I think it's a step in the right direction. And I'm looking forward to Season 3. And the Luke Skywalker moment was pretty awesome.
Let me ask you something. What do you think we're going to get for Bad Batch? What do you want to
Um,
see?
Well, I mean, I've very much enjoyed those 4 episodes of the Bad Batch that we got. Now we know those episodes were recorded prior to everything. Those weren't new episodes that were developed, but the connection you got with those characters, the chemistry and everything, that's really what it comes down to, is chemistry within characters and their back and forth and their banter. And it was weird because you had those 4 episodes and then we kind of moved on from that. We didn't get any more of that. You had the 4 episodes of Bad Batch. You had the middle 4 episodes with the sisters, which I did not like. Then you had the final 4 episodes, which is Siege of Mandalore. So I don't really know what I don't really have any specific expectations in terms of what I want them to do, as much as I'm just looking forward to revisiting with those characters, because I did enjoy those 4 episodes a lot. I thought those were really well done, and they're kind of edgy characters, and I think we need some of that in Star Wars. So
Yeah.
I'm very much looking for forward to the Bad Batch.
What do you think of the Acolyte?
I am not looking forward to the Acolyte at all.
Yeah.
Because I will behave, because I'm on a respectable channel, unlike Geeks and Gamers.
A respectable channel.
Because of the person in charge of it and the comments that she's made, it just doesn't lend to me to be excited about this series up to this point.
Oh, I
I
didn't
hope
know.
I'm wrong.
I'm not
And
aware of
I'll-
her comments, but
Yeah,
from what I've heard from the show, man, and what I can speculate on is, dude, I'm so excited. I think it's going to be fantastic. I hope.
yeah.
What is it
And-
like? Some people are saying 200 years before Phantom Menace. Some people are saying 50 years. I don't even know.
Yeah, and this is kind of like, if we start hearing everybody's opinions on social issues and stuff, then it can make you think differently about them. That's why we don't need to know these people's opinions in terms of, like, let's just see what they're going to produce, because
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people in Hollywood that I like a lot of their stuff, if I heard their personal opinions on things, I wouldn't like them.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it kind of sets a tone with what's going on with Lucasfilm in recent years. When you hear someone say these things, it does create an issue. But I will gladly be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Time will tell.
Yeah. Well, from a story standpoint, I hope that they're going to cover a lot of, and I don't know if Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are involved with that at all. But if they are, man, I can't imagine it would be anything shy of good. And if
Yeah.
they do go before the Phantom Menace, which, depends how many years they go, I just hope that we get to see at least a bit of Plagueis or a mention, something like that. Because there's a huge, with the Plagueis novel, there's a huge kind of backbone to his character of things unless they don't stay true to that. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Who knows?
There's a lot of possibility.
Yeah, I don't know.
So we're at 6,300, but there are people saying that they cannot donate, I guess because they are out of the region.
Maybe, yeah. I think it's only available for.
One thing I noticed too, like, I don't know if there's an extra step you have to take, and when I donated, it just showed up anonymous. So if you want your name on there, you may have to take a couple of extra steps. Because
Yeah,
when
I
I
just
donated,
and my name went through.
yeah. So I don't know if there's some extra steps you have to take or something like that.
I'm going to donate in a little bit here. Yeah, I see some people with their names coming through, and is it really 62? Holy crap!
Almost 7,000 at this point.
All right, well, I'm going to put it at 20K then, because we're 9 minutes in.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah, that's.
But yeah, I think it's really cool. I mean, we did this stream on Theory's on Echo Base Networks channel. Those guys put it together. Gary was there. Tom was there. Jay didn't make it because Jay was he was too busy being famous. But Star Wars Theory was gracious enough to invite all of us on over here because he already had this set up and he thought we could come over here and we want to bring some good. And I think this is the best way to do it. Raise some money for children, sick children. There you go. What better way to do it? So I'm
All right.
happy to be here.
I changed the goal.
Ryan
Okay.
Cannell's in the chat says you have to click things. That's too complicated for Gary.
Jeremy, yeah.
Is he going to come in here too?
Yeah, when you're backstage, let us know, Ryan.
Where's everyone else? I know Mark's coming in, guys. Got Robert coming in.
I sent it to EVS and Robert Meyer Burnett. He was finishing up a stream, so hopefully he'll be in here shortly.
Okay, great.
Let's see. There's so many donations coming in, you can't even keep up. Gary just dropped 500. Nerdrotic 500. Woo!
Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
Show off.
Well, I don't know. Can I cuss?
Huh?
I'll just say F cancer. F cancer.
Oh
there we go.
no, you
Yeah.
you can cuss. This is a
No,
completely
man, that's awesome.
Fuck cancer.
Yeah.
Cancer from dad. So
Yeah, my mom is a surviving breast cancer survivor. She got diagnosed with stage 4 and breast cancer, and she ended up going to Houston for all her treatments and everything. And she's alive today and cancer free. So thank God
Brilliant.
for that.
right on, man.
Yeah,
I lost my
mean,
grandpa to prostate cancer and my grandma to lung cancer, and I had my own complications with a form of cancer when I was a kid. We've got someone in here.
Yeah, my grandfather died of
Hey, bud.
pancreatic cancer.
What's going on, Theory? How's it going, everybody?
I can barely
man.
hear you, Ryan. I don't know if it's
Hi,
picking up
baby
your
boy.
own mic.
You can barely hear me. Really?
There we go.
There we
There
go.
we go.
Well, that's
Better-
like what
better-
happened last night too. It was weird.
Mhm.
That's strange. Well, we're good now. You can hear me. I just walked in on Nick's story. I started to hear about that, man. $8,000 already raised for St. Jude's. That is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, we're 11 minutes in.
Yeah, 11 minutes in. That's enough to wipe away the sadness that I have from my Bears getting absolutely demolished in the NFL playoffs. So, it is
Yeah,
what
I
it is.
was watching that while you were live streaming. Yeah, I mean, I don't talk about this much because I don't think that it should really get a lot of attention. I told Theory about this the other night, but I had a scare with the C word a long time ago, and really it turned out to be melanoma, which is a pretty common skin cancer, but the way it all went down was absolutely terrifying. It was awful because I went to get a biopsy done. It's on my shoulder. It was a spot on my shoulder. The doctor really didn't have really good bedside manner. So about a week later, when my results come back, I answer the phone and I'm at work, and they just said, "Is this Jeremy?" I said, "Yeah." They said, "I'm so sorry, sir." I'm like, "About what?" Like I got some really bad news, and I'm like freaking out at this point. And I'm like, whoa. And they weren't really a specialist in this. And so they were just really giving me the worst case scenario. And of course, long story short, I had to go to another doctor. They had to go deeper in to get more tissue and everything. And for the next 2 weeks, I was stressing out thinking it's over for me. Luckily, I got positive results back. It didn't get into my lymph nodes and stuff like that, but it was a terrible process for about 3 weeks. And I don't compare that to anything to anybody, but when you hear that word associated with you, it is awful. And the fact that there are kids that have to deal with this, if we can do anything to help them, that is,
unbelievable.
yeah.
Yep.
And so
Can I
the
say
fact
something
that,
real quick?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you, Jeremy. Sorry. There are people in the chat saying, "How do I donate?" If you click on the heart, like it's super chat button, it works the same way. So then, if you just got here, 100% of the proceeds go to the charity. So there's a donate button on the top, from what I can see on my screen, and then there's like a heart on the bottom near the emoji button. Just click on that.
Yeah.
And everyone's asking, "Where's Gina?" I don't know.
It's like two hands shaking that like forms a heart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes a heart.
yeah.
And
So-
as much as we, as much
Yo!
What up, man? Oh, you
What up,
can't hear
homie?
us.
Oh,
Yeah. He's like,
like, what's going on?
can you hear us, Mark?
Yo, 20.
Yo,
Can you hear me?
yeah.
We can hear you.
Sounds like
What
a
up,
little
bro?
bit of.
Can you hear us?
He might need to play with his cog there and adjust the
Yeah.
input and
Yeah.
everything.
Okay, I think I'm good. Can you guys hear me, or do I
Yeah.
sound super? All right.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're in a public
Yep.
restroom a little bit.
Yeah, I still haven't put up any soundproofing in these walls.
Okay.
all good. All
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Nice
What
to meet
up?
you, Mark.
Nice to meet you guys, man.
What's up, man?
I gotta say, Mark, I had a lot of respect for you for going on John Campia's show after all that stuff went down. That was pretty good for you to go on there. I enjoyed that.
Cool, man. I'm glad.
I think I'm gonna change this to 30K, man. At this rate, this is stupid.
We're already
Yeah,
at
we're
over 10.
Well, and
I'm going 30.
And I think once it hits it, it'll just keep going. It's not like it'll cap it out or anything. From what I understand,
really?
From what I understand, I guess I'm not 100% sure, but
Yeah,
I don't
let's
know
be
why
ambitious. I got faith.
And as much as
channel?
What's that?
Are you on your channel?
Yeah, we're live. Yeah,
We're
we've
live.
already raised 10 G's.
Really?
Mark's like
Yeah.
walking in. He's
In
like,
15
what,
minutes.
what,
he's like,
what
we're not live yet, are we?
Yo, did you
What's going on? 10 grand already?
Yeah,
raise 10 G's, man, for St. Jude?
in 15 minutes. Yeah, man.
15 minutes.
Wow, dude, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's wild. That's great. We should definitely do more of these, man. This is cool.
Absolutely. And I want to give a shout out to Mexican Iron Man, who is the executive producer for Echo Base Network, who kind of put that stream together last night, which kind of brought us all together here. That's pretty cool. So Mexican Iron Man is a huge supporter of all of us. Great guy.
Yep.
You know what would raise even more money is the next guest we're bringing in. Welcome, Mr. George Lucas himself. No, I'm just kidding. Can you imagine? Dude.
Oh my god! You know how long it would take him to fumble around to figure this out?
There he is.
There he is. Hey, George. How you doing?
I was eating spaghetti.
Oh, God, that's amazing.
Have you guys seen that video of George Lucas appearing in the back of a random documentary?
Yeah, I saw that the other day. Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, just walk around and be like,
It was on Twitter. I
Best
saw
thing
it.
ever.
It's like it's just a random documentary is being filmed on the side of the street, and it's just a guy, like a British guy, who's narrating
We
something.
don't even know what he's
saying,
talking about. He's just like
Yeah.
going on some
go to-
long tangent.
Go to Kristen Nova's Twitter because she retweeted it, and just scroll down. You can probably find it easy that
I
way.
think it's a YouTube video. It's actually called George Lucas.
I'm not
a
as
random
good
documentary.
as Jay when I do this stuff. Jay, how do I bring that on screen?
So on the
All right.
bottom, whenever
What's
Ryan
gonna
shares his,
happen is
Yeah.
when he's ready. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to?
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
It'll be on the bottom like a person's trying to come in, and it'll just be a screen instead of a person.
We got two.
like
Hold up.
backstage.
Why did it say Ryan Kinnell?
Yep. So
Share-
that's my sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Okay,
just
got it.
on that. There it is.
Now,
All right.
yeah. Now, did he need to share audio, Ryan, or is there any audio?
I shared my audio, so we're good.
Okay. Okay.
It's been so long since Jeremy hosts stream because he just makes me do everything for
That's-
him.
Oh,
He doesn't
very
even
true.
understand how this
We could have
works.
Jay do everything.
That's very true.
All right, here we go.
And they use something they call pyroprocessing. The interesting thing is they call it pyroprocessing, but it's a molten salt process. They're dissolving this thing.
Incredible, man. That's incredible. Oh my god. Yo, replay that, dude. Replay that.
They probably didn't even realize it
Like,
either.
what the hell?
He's famous for not knowing.
Wild George Lucas.
Photobombed him. Oh,
All right.
He jumped right
George
in the
Lucas goes
middle
by
of the
West Side. What's up?
They call it pyroprocessing, but it's a molten salt process. They're dissolving this thing. And they're doing electrochemistry on it. They call it they want
That wasn't even accidental. That was just like, I totally am going to photobomb
I mean,
these
can you
guys.
imagine like watching that on the replay, going, "Hey, man."
Like,
You didn't even
what?
know.
That's like seeing a ghost behind you in a recording.
Yep.
Hey, he got pretty close to that. How did that dude not like look behind him?
I know, that's what I'm saying. He like totally did that on purpose. You could tell. It's not like he was like messing around.
That is a dedicated
Where he was
camera.
That is so good. That is so good.
That is
We are about to
unbelievable.
break 12. We are about to break $12,000. Amazing.
That's incredible, dude.
Awesome, guys.
There we
Brief
go.
applause there.
And I will say too, as much as frustration as we may have with the platform and Google and things like that at times, the fact that they allow this and all the proceeds go straight to these couple charities, is really it's really cool thing for YouTube to do, and a good feature. It's way easier than having to do it. Google getting a cut, having to send the rest out, getting receipts, all of that stuff. This makes it really easy and simple to raise a bunch of money for a really good cause.
So it's 100% pass through. There is no Google cut.
No Google cut.
Yeah,
Wow.
when you do it, Google
That
says
shocks
they
me, dude.
cover 100% of the cost. Yeah.
That.
Well, remember when we did it with
Right-off.
like Ashley Eckstein and James Arnold Taylor when they came on? It was like the money had to go to me, and then I saw that, and then I would then I donate it myself out of pocket. This is just
Yeah, you
straight
shave a
through.
little bit off the top. You know, you never know.
Take a
what
little-
you're gonna get, right?
No, dude, it was the
No,
opposite. They
of
took
course
30%, and then I doubled it, and I turned it into US. It's like, but this is even.
Yeah, you should have thrown some in Bitcoin.
Man, I'm up on Bitcoin big time right now.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
Gary,
good
I
stuff.
gotta ask. So all that stuff, that's just stuff that you accumulated over the years.
Yes. A good share of it is left over from my comic shop, and then additions over the last couple of years might have been a little bit crazy.
What's your most
It's
prized
Lord of the Rings
possession
stuff.
in
What was
there?
that? Oh, what was that?
What's your most prized possession in there?
Oh, Christopher Reeve 1/6 scale hot toy. It's not the most valuable, but it's just my favorite. I love it.
Superman.
Yeah, tell them what you did with all your Star Wars figures, Gary.
Oh, okay. I have managed through my life to keep a couple of things, and one of those things was all the Star Wars figures I got as a kid, and I kept them years and years and years. And they used to be hanging when I lived in San Francisco on a wall, like right behind me. And then I saw The Last Jedi, and I came home and I ripped them all off the wall, and I gave them away to my patrons. Which was like 12 people, so they got all of my Star Wars figures. I was that pissed after The Last Jedi, so not a fan. Sorry, folks.
Makes sense. Yeah. Well, I don't think any of us are really fans.
No.
Except, well, it is Robert's not a fan. Where the heck's Robert?
Yeah, he should be in here in a minute.
Yeah, I haven't got a message from him, but I sent him a message. He knows about it. So
Does he like Episode 8?
No,
No,
I don't think
no.
so at all.
no,
Okay.
he does not.
We
He,
should get
he doesn't
Rob-
like any of the new
The sequel
movies,
stuff.
Force Awakens, any of them.
We should get someone in here that absolutely loves it. It goes to bat.
Man, when we were
Good
doing our
luck.
documentary, it was hard for us to find positive videos on people that liked it. I mean, when we were doing searches for content for that, I mean, there was negative stuff on people that hated it all day long. We really had to search for people that really loved it.
Yeah. I mean,
Where's Josh? Josh is busy. He's not going to be coming in today.
They say I guess RMB is still.
Was he
He's
still
he
live?
might still be live taking care of his stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's reading
Well,
super chats right now.
We're holding it down.
Yeah.
You know, and there are people out there. There are people out there that love The Last Jedi, and that's one of the reasons when we talk about so many of the rumors out there about the possible, would they ever decanonize the sequels? And for a couple reasons, I've never really thought that'll happen. One, because that would be them, like, basically a huge mea culpa and admitting like this huge thing. I can't see them doing that. But also, you do have a segment of fans that, despite the opinions of a lot of us on here, they really like what they got. They enjoy that. It's something that means something to them.
Mm-hmm.
And for myself, like, I'm a huge Expanded Universe fan. Was so totally devoted to all of that stuff. I've got all of it sitting here behind me and scattered throughout the room. For me, in 2014, when they came in and said, hey, we want our freedom to do our own thing. We're going to take all of this and call it Legends now and go our separate ways. That sucked for me. That was awful for me. Even though I know I was in the minority of people that read it, it was crushing. And so that's one reason that I don't realistically think it's a possibility that Disney would do that.
No.
To try to win other fans back, by smashing the ones that you have in order to win new ones. That's not typically a great way to do it.
That brings up a good question, or a good. I was just going to say that brings up a question that I was going to bring up last night that we never even got to, is what y'all's thoughts and opinions on the multiverse. Like if they kept the sequel trilogy canon and that timeline, but the Luke that we got at the end of season 2 on Mando actually was in a different timeline, and so his future was unknown. Do you see them doing anything like that?
I don't think that that's happening because the Mandalorian they've already talked about how it's going to lead us into the first parts of the First Order. I don't think that's going to happen at all. I mean, am I open to it? I don't really think that's going to help anything. I think it just continues to overcomplicate a complicated situation already because there's already two visions, it appears. I don't see that being a realistic possibility. But I mean, like, I know Ryan has really talked about this a lot, or at least you're kind of caught up on everything that's going to happen. You got some theories.
Well, go ahead, Jay.
I think what we're gonna see next is basically what we saw with Marvel. We had Mando, and then we think of that as Iron Man. We have the same people in charge, and now we've got the branches out from the Mandalorian, and Thanos is going to be the big bad. Not Thanos. Thrawn is going to be the big bad, like Thanos, and everyone's going to build up their little armies, and then Boba Fett will get his little army, and Ahsoka will get theirs, and then we might end up in a giant movie theater to see the big fight at the end with everyone together. And when it comes to the sequels, it'll just be they're just over there. We're just going to put them over there for a little bit.
They've dropped like major hints in it, Jay. But you're right. I mean, because Mandalorian season 2 acted just like Iron Man season 2, starting to spread everything out at the end. They've made no secret about it. So they've got way too much money invested into it to go down that multiverse thing. But never say never. We're starting to see Marvel and DC do that as well, and it depends. But that ending scene in the Mandalorian season 2 won so many people back. They don't need to do anything like that anymore. They can just take it day by day and build out this Mandalorian universe just fine, and they don't need to do a damn thing right now.
I'm just hoping that at some point they'll get a little darker with it. Like, I get it that it's for kids, but I think Star Wars is at its best when it's teetering between good and evil, and you can't really tell where the good is and where the evil is and where the moment where things are going to snap. And I think that's why, Return of the Jedi and Revenge of the Sith are like my all-time favorites, because you feel that imminent danger of flipping to the dark side, of succumbing to like your lesser parts, and having that kind of take over. I just think that we got a little bit of that in Rebels season 3, but I just hope that there's somebody inside that place that has the take on it, to go a little bit Christopher Nolan with it, to go just a little darker with Star Wars, man. How long has it been since we've seen like a sweet red saber moment, And that's the Star Wars that always inspired my imagination, and it just feels like we're so far away from that. I get it. It's for kids, and fair enough. Kids need to understand those tough moments of life decisions. But as people that have already kind of made the move to the dark side, they should cater to our demographic a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that Gary made a great point about they don't need to retcon the sequels at this point. As much as a lot of us would like for the ending not to be what we saw in The Last Jedi, what they've done in The Mandalorian and the 99.9% support for all of this, I think that shows that they can pretty much win fans back as long as they're telling stories this way. If they just stick to this era and tell stories, I think a lot of people are just going to be satisfied, and they're just going to kind of, like everyone said, kind of just ignore what happened in the sequels and maybe not tell so much about how that happened and just leave it up to our imaginations. And eventually, I do think eventually they'll just reboot everything. I think that 20 years down the line, just like we see with almost every Disney product, we will see the prequels, we'll see the original trilogy, and we'll see the sequels all redone with a different cast completely.
I hope not.
That was something that was in the contract for them not to ever touch what George had done. They can just build on it.
Do you think we'll ever live through a time where Disney would sell Lucas?
Oh yeah, 100%.
But here's my question, theory is, what happens when George passes on? Are they still going to be bound to that? Because, we have right now, Disney bought in and they have a bunch of contracts that require them to pay people like Alan Dean Foster,
Uh-huh.
someone who wrote a bunch of Star Wars books before they took over, and they should be bound by that contract, and they haven't been paying him. So I don't know. And we've already seen, here's the thing, we've already seen with things like the novels that come out from a different point of view, that talk about A New Hope, that talk about Empire, and they retell events, they change things that happen and retell perspectives. Yeah. You know, they're already doing some of that. So I think that's the extent of what they can do. I don't think they can go really beyond that. You know, what they're doing with an author is wrong. I don't know the insides of it, but from what I hear from you, that's not cool. But, you know, and not to say one person is more important than the other, but to do that to George Lucas's contract, I would say he's as powerful as Disney when it comes to, you know, making something ironclad and getting all the legal papers in there. So he's a smart son of a gun. I don't think he would let that ever slide. That's something that he holds. And what was it true that he can't, like, he wrote that something in the contract, like a clause that you can't ever touch A New Hope? That's like the one that you can't do something to.
I haven't heard that.
I heard like he owns that one or something, or I guess they bought the whole thing. I don't know.
He owned all three of them now after the whole. It was some deal he made with Fox. They own the distribution rights, though. That was it. But then that's when Disney bought Fox. They got the distribution rights to it. But no, I was under the understanding, though, at least, and they're not able to do anything to the original 3 films, or 6 films, I should say. As far as after he dies, that's a different story. Then his estate would have to step in.
Yeah.
That's my understanding on it too.
Because I would think that if Disney had the rights to be able to release the unaltered trilogy, they would do it. They know that would make them so much bank, they wouldn't hesitate.
I gotta say this though. Everyone kind of seems to forget this factor is the theme park factor that generates a ton of money for Disney. And when they brought in Batuu and Galaxy's Edge, they're choking Batuu down everyone's throat. They're throwing Han Solo now is in Batuu and Princess Leia. They're just bringing out books and all kinds of things because they wanted to keep it in that timeline from The Last Jedi to what's the last one called? I forgot.
Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, sorry, Rise of Skywalker. Anyway, yeah, that's how I'm. Anyway, sorry. Star Wars, yeah. Anyway, but to go there and if people don't know, I run a theme park channel over here with this guy over here, and to go there all the time and know the people that run it, know the people that work it, to know the people that are there, and then having them whisper, saying it could be a change coming, because nobody wants to see these characters anymore. Nobody wants to see. That's not my Luke. You know, like where's the Mandalorian? You know, where's Baby Yoda? Where's this? Well, they're not here because it's not the right time period. They started like throwing Baby Yoda in there now because they know people are coming with children now that have watched that. And they're like, hey, I'm coming to a theme park to get pictures with people that I like. I mean, that's what you do, especially Disney. You want to see the characters that you enjoy and get photos and all that stuff. And it looks like they tweaked it now that one of the X-Wings that's parked there was in the Mandalorian. That's being advertised now. It's like, hey, there's an X-Wing that was in the Mandalorian series here at Galaxy's Edge. So it seems like if they start to shift that way, it does look like they're shifting away from the sequels a little bit. You know, a little bit. I'm not saying far and wide or anything like that, but to me, that's a big deal for them because they held on. They're holding on to that theme park, man. Like. And it looks like it's starting to slip.
How big of a mistake do you think it was that they didn't? Have you seen the George? Maybe Jay, you could find this or Ryan the George Lucas theme park.
Yeah,
the artist behind that. I keep forgetting the guy's name, and
but you don't understand. Like the guy, I didn't mean to interrupt him. But the guy that was building it originally. Anna, that Star Wars girl, she got the podcast, and he was saying like, well, we were building it for all 3 trilogies. You know, we had all this, and they also had extra rides that they were going to put in. And they did say that Kathleen Kennedy came down and said, we're not going to do that. We're going to change it because we're going forward. We're going forward with the story. We're not going backwards. But and I just find it interesting that after she made that proclamation, so they changed Galaxy's Edge to what it is now. But now they released all this show and everything is backwards and not forwards like she wanted it. And it's just, it just sniffs a little. It smells a little funny to me. That's all I'm saying.
That's the
Yeah.
podcast portion
VR
that you didn't want to cater to 50-year-old.
Yeah, that's the one,
yeah,
Gary.
yeah, that's the audio.
Look at that. Before
That
wait,
would have been awesome.
But hey, we are at $17,000.
Are we?
We're at
Oh, crap. I didn't-
17,000.
Dude. No way.
And I continue.
great.
I continue to see people in the chat asking how to donate. It's just like sending a super chat. The donation, 100% of the donation goes to the charity. It at least from a phone. I haven't tried it from a computer.
Yeah, it's
But
pretty
yeah,
good.
there's
I
a
did it from there, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
35 minutes, 17K. That's stupid.
that's insane.
That's
It's
dumb.
nuts. That's what the community can do when they set their minds to it, which is pretty awesome. We're only just getting started.
I didn't even
And-
advertise this thing, man. It was just like a few days out.
and you're all part of this. Every single person that's in this chat. You
Yeah,
know,
all of you.
everybody. It's all one
Yeah.
big happy family, right?
Well, I think it
It's
speaks
awesome,
to the
man.
community.
We're gonna
Go
hit
ahead,
this
Gary.
goal, and then we're gonna do another one, and then we're gonna do another one, and then
Yep.
If we pass 30K, man, we should start doing little challenges and stuff. Like, okay, we reach 30K, we all have to do like 50 push-ups or something.
Do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm down. Okay,
As long as
okay,
you're not
we
Miguel.
reached
As long as you're
30K.
not. As long as you're not Miguel in episode 1 of season 1.
Yeah,
Like
no.
you can do it.
Oh, he's like, yo, Menudo. He's like, what? You racist bastard.
I am still drinking Coors Banquet. I love Johnny Lawrence. I love this show. What am I supposed to do for the next, like, I don't know, year until we get season 4? I don't know.
Yeah, I know, man. It's crazy. And like Ralph Macchio's now posting all this stuff behind the scenes of him in Okinawa.
I know.
It's beautiful, dude. Mark, did you watch the 3rd season, Cobra Kai?
So I've started it, but I haven't finished it. You know, I'm kind of
do you feel
savoring it a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, dude, like Billy Zabka or whatever his name is, William Zabka is just like, he's incredible, dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the
He's
most.
my favorite.
Yeah, he's just such a breakthrough character. You know, he's like he's. I mean, I'm probably the oldest one in here, but he's like me. You know, he's like that old '80s kid that can barely walk straight that still thinks he's like, you know, like a young hero. You know,
Yeah.
it's awesome. It's such an
It
awesome
is.
character. But
Johnny
yeah,
Lawrence represents all of us. I mean, he really does.
Amen.
He
Amen.
really does.
Yeah.
I heard that they were they were working on season 4 and 5 at the same time, and season 4 might come out towards the end of this year. Have you heard anything on that theory?
John Hurwitz, one of the writers, he said that it's going to come out. He assumes it's going to come out at the same time.
Okay.
So January 2022, maybe.
All right.
Yeah, last interview I heard they only had an order for season 4, and they're not even 100% sure about 5 yet.
Really?
Yeah, but they said if it doesn't go any farther, they have a logical ending. If not, they know how to open it up. So it sounds to me like Netflix hasn't fully committed beyond season 4.
Yeah.
No, they'd
Well,
be idiots. Can't
I
believe
know,
YouTube
right?
let that go, man. What the hell?
Well,
I know.
It was better off for Cobra Kai.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, but Netflix still doesn't promote anything properly. They have some
dead.
posters, but then they just drop stuff and they drop it early and they don't tell anybody. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, you actually want people to watch your show. It's not a secret.
Yeah.
What time it starts. It's this weird thing with streaming. We're going to drop stuff in the middle of the night. Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Give us a time.
I love how obsessed Ryan has. Like Ryan Kennel has not. He hadn't watched it, and now he like all he does is sends me all these videos he's finding.
That's okay.
What did he say the other day? He said, "I'm watching more Cobra Kai theory than I am Star Wars."
Yeah, it's true.
I do
Like,
watch Cobra
Thank you,
Kai
man.
theory.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
It's really true because I'm just so invested. It is what we all would have wanted from Star Wars. That's like the easiest way to describe it. And it is something that, as someone who wasn't the biggest fans of the original Cobra Kai movies, not that I didn't like them, just I never got into them.
Yeah.
It's not like something I would just sit there and rewatch. This, to me, just captivated me and drawn me in and just makes me want to consume it, which is exactly what happened with Star Wars. That's how I got all this stuff, because I watched the original trilogy, then I watched The Phantom Menace in theaters, and I became obsessed with Star Wars, and I wanted to consume every bit of it I could. So then I'm making my mom buy me books. My uncle's giving me old books of his.
Mom,
Like,
Yeah.
Mom, I need another book, Mom.
Exactly.
Mom, the meatloaf.
And so now that's how I am with Cobra Kai and Karate Kid. I just ordered like $100 worth of shit on Amazon because I just want Cobra Kai stuff. So.
You just see Ryan like in front of the mirror, like putting the headband on, playing the music. He's like, no mercy.
I love it. I love it. It's great to see new people come to this
What are we working
franchise,
with
though.
back there? In the books?
It is.
What do we got going on?
He's got all the EU stuff.
I've got essentially every expanded universe novel before 2014. I've got a bunch of stuff over here that won't fit, but I've got double layers of the paperback books because I can't fit them all on this thing. But yeah, man, and I've got the highlight here, my Revan lightsaber. I don't have the Luke Skywalker Master Series like somebody over here, but I do have the Revan lightsaber they just came out with that has a blade that changes from purple to red with the touch of a button, which is awesome. So I've got a couple cool things.
That one was really cool. I was really impressed with their quality on that one, and then the Sidious one. I don't know if you saw my review. I was just really saddened by that. It's just crap.
Yeah, one of our subs is a prop builder over in the UK, and he got the original plans for Luke's saber that they built for him in Return of the Jedi, and he's actually building us 3 of them, one for me, one for Coach, and one for Mexican Iron Man, and 4, and then one that we're actually going to give away on the channel. But he sent us some stuff behind the scenes on one of the first finished ones, and it looks absolutely amazing, just like the one that you opened up this last week.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
He's like, Theory's like playing with StreamYard. He's like, I got Ray's lightsaber from Walmart. This is
Don't
Ray.
say that.
All right.
Don't say that.
That is not Ray's.
There is a
It's
kick
Ray on the box. And I think there's a Ray thing on the thing. I only paid.
F the box. It's not Ray's.
I only
Is
paid
that a
on
match
sale for
replica? It is, isn't it?
$22.95.
All that
Walmart.
momentum Drunk 3PO had, he just lost every bit of it. Oh.
Not really, because Gina Carano just tweeted at me, so it's all good. I'm fine.
Oh, here we go again. Dude, Jared, how long did we go without a?
We should have made a bet. We should have made a bet as to how long Jay would make it about him
Y'all
and
said
Gina
it before.
Carano. Me. When we
trying to
hit,
tear me down.
we're about to hit 20. We're going to hit 20,000 here in just a few minutes. And when we do you know what Jay's going to do? He's going to Gina Carano followed me, and I had her on for. But by the way, yeah, congrats on the 20. But Gina, me.
Can you blow me up, please?
I know there's kids with cancer, but me and Gina Carano.
Hey, why don't you pull your
Right
connections
here.
and bring your future wife on here then?
Yeah.
For some
Yeah, no,
kids.
Man, don't say that stuff because she could be watching.
When you
Well,
watch
good.
that
Then
down,
send her the
Jay.
link.
I'm sure she watches everything you say already. You said way worse. The thing is, she got to watch the gaming channel because that's when you're not streaming and that's when you really talk for real. Hey, Gina, if you're watching this, did you know that he flirts with girls on my channel? That message. Did you know that last night?
Hey, why are you like giving stickers? That's not good.
In like 2 minutes, you're gonna look
You
down.
gotta
at
know,
your
man.
phone.
We gotta be real here. I'm loving.
Hey,
the
look at
stream
that!
here.
Almost $20,000. Look, I'm in charge now. I'm in
Now he notices. Yeah.
oh, come on! It's all jokes. It's all jokes.
Of course it is. Oh no, now it's Friday Night Tights. Now it's Friday Night Tights. Right
Hey.
there.
No, because
Hey, all right.
Oh, there we go. Hold on.
Oh, I almost hit it. Yeah, I can't hit that sound button. I'm on a clean channel. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't really care if it's clean or not right now. We're just a bunch of bros hanging out and doing good stuff. So
Hey, no, seriously, in all seriousness, Theory, man, thank you for doing this. Thank you for bringing us on, putting us together. We're happy to be part of it, man.
Yeah.
This is
absolutely.
good
It's fun.
stuff.
You know what we should do? We should play some games or something next time. Maybe some Among Us.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
do you want to play Among Us now? And maybe later in the night. Oh, you got to. Never mind.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't think everybody here has it, but I mean, I have it. I know Ryan has it. Jay has it. I don't know if everybody does, though.
Have what? Which game?
I've got Among Us.
Among Us. No, I've never
Is it
played.
cross-platform?
We could do Vertex, man.
It is cross-platform.
Okay.
Even
Yeah,
if
because
you have it on
I
Switch
have
or-
it on PlayStation.
Yeah, it's
Vertex
cross.
would be fun, actually.
What Vertex?
Yeah, Vertex would be good.
I'd chop all. Yeah, let's do it. You want to do it? Well, you guys got to download it. Maybe we can do it for another time.
Yeah, we'll plan it out better to do it because I would love to play some games and do something like that.
This was such an impromptu, like and I can't believe that we've already raised so much money for these kids, man.
I'm very interested to know, has anybody here played the Batu's Edge or Galaxy's Edge, like adventure game on VR, whatever the hell it's called, like Return to Batu? Like I don't even
Is it
I
at,
never
is it at
went
the
there.
theme park? Is it at?
No. It's like an Oculus. It's the same people that did Vader Immortal. It's like the same exact team that did Vader Immortal.
I have not. I'm not a Mark the Cyborg probably has because he plays all of them. And
I tried playing it. I just was not into it. Even though it looks beautiful, but like, you tried it, drunk 3PO?
I did not try it. My friend has it. He loves these VR games. He's playing Darth Vader, like all that stuff, and
He just wasn't feeling it.
he's not a big. Oh,
Do you guys play VR or you guys don't even touch it?
I'm not into it. I've never really tried it. I've tried it out before at like a friend's place, and I just didn't dig it.
Well,
so I'm
yeah,
bad enough at normal
PS4.
games. I don't need all this other stuff.
well,
I got it for the PS4.
Yeah, Mark the Cyborg, part of our Geeks and Gamers team. He is our resident gamer, and he's a big fan of Half-Life Alyx, which is a VR game, and he said it's probably the best VR experience that he's played.
Mark's language right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the best VR game ever made. For sure.
Yeah, he is. I called Mark up because he just talks so technical. He's PC Master Race. I called him up. 10-minute phone call max is all it needed to be. I'm like, hey, I want to play Half-Life Alyx because I'm a huge Half-Life fan. I love Half-Life 2, one of the greatest games ever made. An hour later, Mark has decided he's going to sell me his VR set, and he's talked to me about all of these specific. I'm like, Mark, I don't even remember what we're talking about anymore. I'm completely clueless as to what's going on. He's in the chat. He did donate earlier, so I know he's probably listening. And RMB just ended, so apparently he's going to be in backstage.
I'm texting, man. Come on.
I like how Jeremy,
bro.
How long was it? I said 2 minutes. I said 2
Hey,
minutes.
Alex, or no? Did you get to play it?
20K.
boom.
20K.
You guys playing? Hey, 20,100. That's crazy. You guys are doing a great thing, man.
Did you actually get to play Alex finally, or you still haven't?
I still haven't played it. I finally have I finally have a high-end PC now, and so I really don't have anything, no excuses other than time at this point.
Yeah,
but I do want to play it because Half-Life 2 is, especially if you add Episode 1 and 2, that's probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest games anybody will ever play. It's that good.
Yeah, and like Half-Life Alyx is like takes all of those meticulous like game design features from like the first Half-Life and the second Half-Life and iterates it like one level above. So it's like it's very familiar like when you're playing it, how like every single level is perfectly designed to just be a little bit more difficult than the one you were in before. And you know, like there's this one creature in it with no spoilers that's like you know, all electrical and like flies all over the room, and beating one is so difficult. And then you get into this one room and then two of them show up and you're like, oh god.
Nice.
You want to like, and like your heart is just going boom, boom, boom. It's really cool. If you want a really simple VR setup, I would recommend the Rift S. It's very simple to set up. And it looks great. Or you can get an Oculus Quest and then just use the Oculus Link cable, which allows you to play the PC games. But yeah, it's a bummer more people aren't into VR. There's some really cool games that have been made for it.
I've heard nothing but fantastic things about Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard on VR for PlayStation, which I have. Man, that one was a tough one to get through. That's definitely one you don't want to play by yourself at nighttime, you know, at your house.
Yeah.
There's very, very creepy.
One time I was playing with Fury. We were playing that one game. What was that one game? Phantasmagasm or whatever?
Phasmophobia?
Phasmophobia, dude.
Yeah,
Phasmophobia.
What did Mark call it?
Crapping my pants.
Phantasmagasm.
It's like something Jay would call it.
But
I
dude,
hate that
Fun
game.
experience.
Dude, we were playing that game. Like, so I was playing in VR. These two dudes were playing on the PC, and like confession time, I had to lower the volume on the game a little bit, so I just wouldn't be so friggin' scared all the time. That game is pretty creepy.
I kind of want to put Ryan on blast right now. Ryan,
Do it.
He
you know
always,
where that clip is?
he always
Where that
puts
clip
Brian
is?
on blast.
There's a clip.
Yeah,
I don't know
what
what
is he playing that game?
yeah. So we're playing it.
Oh, clip
And-
it, dude.
And Mark the Cyborg comes into the Discord call, and makes this psycho voice, sounds like a demon, and Ryan freaks out.
I scream. I don't know where the video's at though.
Oh, it's gone.
Well, it's not just like it was a tweet.
Oh no!
Yeah, we'll have to we'll give it a minute.
Everything else at the
I'll
drop
search-
of a hat.
I'll search
Yeah.
for it, and you search for it. One of us will be able to find it.
Did we make it into a Gaming with Geeks video possibly?
I don't think so. Krista would know where it's at, but she hasn't responded to me. So
It's probably on the Gaming with Geeks Twitter. I guess I'll start scrolling.
Got smart. Quit.
Dude, you're about to cross $21,000.
What the hell, man?
That's incredible, dude.
That's some
I just
crazy
got a
money.
message. I just got a message from our friend Robert Pearson, him and his wife, who are the guy who's building the lightsaber props. He just messaged me, said that they donated as well. So I wanted to give
Nice.
them
Oh,
a
thank
shout
you.
out.
Thank
Say
you.
Thanks, Robert Pearson, and Teresa Pearson.
Thank all you guys who've donated 20
Yeah.
grand in less than an hour.
Oh,
is
Robert's in
Yeah.
here. Hey, Robert.
ridiculous.
Hello.
Hey,
Hey, Robert.
I'm
What's going on, man?
hello, Fernandez. How are you?
Pretty good, buddy. How are you?
I'm playing with my diecast Bandai R2D2, which is one of my favorite 6-scale art. It's great because it's all
It's
diecast.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
It
Man,
really
look
is.
Look at all those hot toys back there, man.
oh
That is-
yeah,
I know. I got Hot Toys. I got
Awesome
my Samurai.
collection.
I got my John Lennon. Wait, John Lennon's over here.
Yeah,
a
yeah.
toy
With the
company
Gibson.
that made one and went out of business. Yeah,
Is
it's
that
really,
Gibson like actually strung with like actual
Yes.
like steel strings?
this here. I'll show you. This action figure is. I shouldn't be promoting this because the company that made this didn't pay the artist to do this face sculpt, but this action figure is it has a metal skeleton, and this is, you can't really tell, but it's really heavy, and and this is the singing head. So you've got the guitar up there. It is strung.
That's beautiful, dude.
And then he came with also the Imagine the Army jacket, and then a second head, a non-singing head, and the face sculpt is really good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that looks
unfortunately,
really good.
unfortunately, the company that made this, it was called Molecule 8, and they were going to do all these great figures. They were going to do Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka after this,
Oh,
but then they went out of business because they didn't pay anybody.
yeah.
And the
Always help.
quality
People.
is this, it's really high quality, and they were going to do these very high-end action figures to compete with Hot Toys, and I kind of feel bad that I have this on display because the company but it's so cool. Like, I love this. I love this, and they're Blitzway is doing a Jimi Hendrix, and another company is doing a Freddie Mercury figure. So I figure I'm just gonna get a Pantheon. I just hope somebody does Prince, and I just want to line them up and have the ultimate.
Jim Morrison.
Yeah, Jim Morrison, the ultimate dream band in 6-scale action figure form, and of course I'll have R2D2 here recording it all.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
So
Right
there you
there.
go.
I love the
Ryan,
great.
Ryan, I
Good to
found
see
the
you,
clip.
Robert. Happy
I
New
found
Year,
the clip,
buddy.
Ryan. So
So
here
there
we
you
go.
Yay.
So we're gonna show this clip of Ryan.
Oh,
of
yay.
Phasmophobia. So Steph, my nerdy home has it. So right here we go. This is so good. About halfway through the video is when Mark comes in.
Oh my god! Oh my god! It's me! Oh my
Oh my
god!
god, run!
Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it. Run!
Oh my
He's
god!
shaking.
Oh my god! Real
What the freak?
Hold on. Oh my god! Oh my god! Run! Oh my god!
No, it's okay. It's just me, Mark the Cyber.
Oh
One more time. Hang
my!
on.
You gotta back up to where.
Yeah.
Oh my god! On real estate. Oh my god! Oh my god! Run! Oh my god!
No, it's okay. It's just me, Mark the Cyber.
Oh if you haven't played this game before, if you haven't played this game before, there are noises and stuff like that happen, and the things will like talk, and all of a sudden Mark just pops in Discord without any of us noticing because we're scared to death, and he goes, "Get out!" and just freaks the hell out of us.
The best part is that he said, "No, it's just me, Mark the Cyborg." Like he introduces himself just like Mark the Cyborg would. For those that don't know, Mark the Cyborg has a cybernetic leg. He is part of the Canadian military, and he's awesome. So
We got my buddy Leia's Lair in here. Let me tell you a funny story. So Leia's Lair is he has him and his fiance have a channel. That's actually my best friend since we were 14 years old. We met on a Star Wars forum. Neither of us were really popular at all in school. Well, maybe he was a little. We super weird, awkward. 14 years old. We met on a Star Wars forum, and funny enough, we turned out to be the same age. Lived in province, which for you American guys, it's like a state away, and same interests, and just dude, Star Wars brought us. Star Wars has done so much for me in my life, more than just my channel. So shout out to my boy Leia's Lair right there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Love you, buddy.
How's it going?
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on the stream, man.
Yeah, of course.
Nice to meet
Yeah.
you.
Do you have to go repaint the helmet now?
Right?
I mean, what, if you're in the
I bought this
501st,
like right before it filmed. So I was like, oh man.
I have a friend on my own channel. The first episode was all about, it was called Middle Age Cosplay. And he built a 1-to-1 scale land speeder, Luke's land speeder, 1-to-1. So you can sit in it. But he also made this Boba Fett costume. And all I could think about was watching, The Mandalorian this season. I'm like, oh, he's in the 501st. I'm like, does he have to repaint his costume like from scratch? Because he spent all that time making all the weathering like perfect and up to 501st standards. And then all of a sudden, Boba Fett himself repaints his own armor. Then what do you
Makes
do?
it clean looking.
How'd you feel about that color? The paint job. It's like a matte finish. It kind of looks sweet to me, but
I liked it.
yeah.
I dig it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I like
I don't
the,
like,
I like
it.
the
I
weather
don't
look.
like it. I like the battle scars. We all get scars. They tell stories. You
Yeah.
see people with scars on their face. They got cool stories. Some of them they make up, but it's still cool. to
Right,
have
but
some-
this is like Anakin Saber, and then you got Luke Saber, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
half that battle damage was not his. It was, the other people that have been using his armor.
And it was, I think a
What
lot of
about the samurai skirt? You guys feeling the samurai skirt on Boba?
Yeah.
Well, that was the, and I think the reason too that so many of us like that first episode were like, well, there's fat Boba Fett, like is because he put it on over like the Tuscan robe, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't supposed to go on over all of that, which is one of the reasons it looked like that.
Yeah.
As far as the repainting, I dig the weathered look, but the way it was they clearly wanted to show you like acid damage from the Sarlacc pit, which makes sense. And like Boba Fett, who's been apart from this armor for 5
The
years.
Mythos Boba Fett. It's kind of like the Mythos Fett more of that Sideshow did. This is not the accurate movie version.
Yeah.
It's the Mythos. I like this version. It's cool.
I like
Right.
that. Looks good.
Yeah.
That looks good. Yeah. Somebody put out the theory it's cheaper out there than sitting there being all labor intensive and putting in the weathering. It's just easier to have a painted Boba
Yeah,
Fett.
Mark, did you say this to someone else said this? Correct me. You're like, it looks like a cosplay. Looks
Yeah.
like a cosplay outfit. Or you didn't say that. That was someone else.
Me?
Yeah.
No.
No, that's someone else.
Well, I
Yeah.
think there's a lot
think-
of. Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
I think the Timothy Oliphant is such a skinny dude that when he had it on, he kind of has a long neck too, so he kind of looked like a little bit like an ostrich, kind of walking around in it. And like I was like, yeah, it looks weird on him, but like, the Tamora Morrison dude wears it well,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just like, I kind of do wish that they didn't go with the skirt, the samurai vibe, but like, I think it looks great. I mean, it's the least of my worries with the show.
I got a question for you guys. Something that I don't know. What do you think the reason was for Obi-Wan tinkering with Anakin's blade so much so it looks so different by the time it got to Luke? I hope they're gonna discuss that in the show.
One, I think it was probably just design choices from George that differed between when it was originally made and then when he made the prequels, which wouldn't be surprising because George.
I know the behind the
but-
scenes. The behind the scenes, apparently, Hayden didn't like the thickness of the actual of Luke's blade, so he's of Luke's hilt. So he's like, I need something thinner so I can duel with it really fast because obviously the choreography was super different in the prequels. But I wonder, like an in-universe answer. I don't know what it is, and I hope that. My hope is that in the Obi-Wan show, we're gonna see Qui-Gon's lightsaber, and because we see it on the Mythos statue, so Obi-Wan still has it like on his sack. It's hanging from. So he's got the Qui-Gon saber with him. So maybe that's the green crystal that Luke uses. That's what I'm hoping.
Oh, that's interesting. I never thought of that.
I've heard those fan theories before,
Yeah.
basically, like that we never get to see that deleted scene or whatever from Luke, assembling that green saber. How did he get it? We don't really know that story.
Yeah.
I will say, like, I think what my thoughts have always been is that they like to kind of pull from things that happened in the expanded universe that they decanonized that now they're like going back to. So the Obi-Wan novel, specifically Kenobi, this book tells like a bunch of it's a great insight into Obi-Wan in the aftermath of everything that happened in Revenge of the Sith. Like when he's, the first, I would say probably like 5 to 10 years of his, exile on Tatooine and watching over Luke Skywalker. And there's a lot of it where he's just contemplating his failures because Obi-Wan failed. Obi-Wan failed as a friend, as a master, as a Jedi. He is a failure. And now he's sitting there having to contemplate with everything while still on this last mission to commune with Qui-Gon. And in this book, he actually has Anakin's lightsaber in a box that he's like constantly like looking at it and opening it up and, thinking about all the things that he could have done wrong. And so maybe there will be a little bit of that I think there's going to be a lot of this book that they take out and use in the series. But as far as the lightsaber, I'm not sure exactly if they're going to do anything to explain it. To me, I think they're okay with just changing things and just rolling with it. Yeah. Whether that's how the dark saber gets passed down or other things, so I don't think they're too hung up on internal consistencies like that. They're just trying to tell a story.
I want to see the construction of the dark saber now that you mentioned it. I want to see why it seems like it burns hotter, right? Like, do you remember when Din was fighting Moff and it seemed like the Beskar spear was actually heating up? It was almost going to melt. Whereas when Ahsoka was fighting, what's her face?
The Night Sister chick from the town.
Yeah, totally forgot her name.
I don't remember her name.
Elsbeth. It wasn't heating up at all. It wasn't even turning red, So it kind of makes me think, okay, what's the deal with the Darksaber? Was it more powerful? Why does it make this noise? Are they taken from Legends? Or are they going with this idea that the Darksaber crystal is used from a pearl from a Krayt dragon?
This whole Beskar can stop a saber thing is Disney stuff, though, right? I mean,
no.
Really? From where before? Like, I've never even. Where are Legends?
So the first time I specifically heard it really explained very well was the Legacy of the Force series, which was written somewhere around 2008, 2009. I think it was mentioned before, but they really delved into it when they told the story of Boba Fett really becoming Mandalore and going back to Mandalorian heritage and his roots.
That it had the properties that it could resist a saber strike?
Yes. And it had that. And that was one of the things that made Mandalorians difficult to deal with because, when Jedi went after Mandalorians, unlike when they go after Mando in the show, they didn't just slap it as Beskar because it didn't do anything. They'd have to attack the armpits, the joints, everything like that.
That's not the case in the Clone Wars, though, right? In Clone Wars, there's no reference to that.
And in the Clone Wars, they do happen to slash through them pretty easily.
Yeah.
My theory behind that is that it's like an alloy, but I feel like what Din got was like a pure form, 100% Beskar, and he's just decked out and he's blinging. But I feel like Gar Saxon and those guys, I feel like it was just like a mixture.
We are about to cross 23,000.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's been an hour, 62 minutes, and we are at 22.8.
That's amazing.
Guys, chat, thank you so much. There's 5,300 of you here. If each of you donates $5, or let's say, the price of your coffee in the morning or whatever, we'll be over 25 grand richer for helping sick kids. So just think about that.
And can I say this is such a beautiful thing because we have so many different people on the panel that have different channels with different opinions about Star Wars, and he blows me up. I
feel like a DJ, man.
He literally blows everybody up that talks, and you go, he blows me up.
Well, I just was saying that it's just and I know there's people.
Me.
I didn't say that. I said let me get in the background. See how they flip it. You see how they start. I was gonna say something nice about Theory too.
See how they are? Yeah.
What do you mean?
Never mind.
Whoa! What do you mean,
they,
bro?
Hey, man.
He just gave
those
up.
people,
Gave it up.
All the
Jay.
5 guys.
Oh,
you
you shut
shit,
yourself
man.
down.
We
Mine's
love
not a
you,
picture of Gina,
Jay.
dude.
We're sorry.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, good for kids, whatever. Yeah, fine.
It's not good. And I told you what I said to Gina lately.
We just bumped up
I
another
didn't say
sound.
anything. You guys are making all this up. All right, forget it. Great stream, guys.
I think what he was saying was there are channels with different opinions, but we can come together for good causes
That's
once
what
in
I'm
a while.
saying. And for me, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see because
So if I go to the chat and donate money, like in the can I super chat you and it goes to the charity?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
goes
100%
directly
of it.
through.
it's just beautiful because
I'm
the
gonna do that
whole-
right now.
I love
Yeah,
how
Google
Theory-
doesn't keep any of the money. It all goes straight to
I love
St.
how,
Jude.
I love how
Yeah.
Theory highlights people after they're done talking.
I know, I'm not fast enough, dude.
I know.
I'm not like Jay. I'm not a
He's
pro.
trying.
I'm just gonna leave it here, dude.
It's just nice.
Whoa.
I'm all messed up.
Now you gotta
You like this more? Or do you like that?
This
That's
one.
probably
That.
better. Yeah, that's better.
The other one's kind of dope, though. Go back to the other
I
one.
kind of
for a
like the other one, dude. It's like the
Yeah,
Avenger.
dude.
Yeah.
It's like we're playing like a game show.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it.
Ryan, high five, Ryan.
Get out of my fucking armpit, dude. Jesus.
So I have a question. I have a question for Robert, real
Go,
quick.
Mark, you're off frame a little bit.
Me?
Oh,
You go to,
yeah, yeah. Quick question, Robert. What was your overall takeaway from The Mandalorian? Were you thumbs up, thumbs down? Just like your quick
Oh no! Look,
review.
did I think the Mandalorian was perfect? No, but I loved it. If that makes any sense. I mean, I thought that you know what I really liked. The sort of the episodic nature was like a throwback to growing up watching shows like The $6 Million Man, where each episode was an individual adventure, but at the same time they sort of like look. There were things in The Mandalorian that I loved. Like I don't know why I love this so much, but when Mando was just hanging out with sand people, like spoke their language and was just chilling with them, I loved this. And I love the fact that we learned more about the Sand People in The Mandalorian than we ever did in any of the films. And the fact that they came together and worked together with that town, you know, and I understand it's a throwback to the Old West, and you're dealing with the Native Americans and the homesteaders or whatever teaming up to kill the Krayt Dragon. But I loved it. Like I'm watching this, I'm like, this is exactly what I want from this show, because we're so used to having these in-depth season-long, whether it's Breaking Bad or now I love The Expanse, but for these bite-sized morsels of fun, for the most part, I felt very satisfied with what I was getting. And I think what's really interesting is at first I wanted like more from it. I wanted to see some kind of in-depth Walter White season-long examination like you get in a Breaking Bad. But then when you sit back and realize, well, that's not what they're doing, and then you come to grips with what it is that they are doing, I loved it. I mean, that scene with Bill Burr, I was talking about this last night with the Imperial officer. Those scenes were, you learn more about the Empire in that little exchange. One of my favorite things in Star Wars is in the briefing room scene with the Imperial officers. You know, until this battle station is fully operational, we are vulnerable. The Rebel Alliance is too well equipped. You know, I love that scene because you get a sense of the hierarchy of how the Empire works. And everybody seems like they're really good at their jobs, like they know what they're doing. They built the Death Star. You know, it was how bureaucracy maintain control. You know, all this, and then when Tarkin walks in, the Imperial Senate will no longer whatever. I loved all that, and I like finding out more about the universe through these kinds of conversations where you feel like you're a fly on the wall watching people at work. And that conversation with Bill Burr, he's bringing up all this backstory. You know, he's explaining his own backstory by questioning this officer who was there. And yeah, you know, many people died. There's a great moment, Escape from New York, where at the end of the movie, where Snake Plissken asks Donald Pleasance, the president, after he's been brought out of New York, and Snake Plissken's like, so, you know, a lot of people died to get you out. You know, I wonder how you feel about that. And the president's like, well, of course, they made a great sacrifice. And Snake Plissken knows that Donald Pleasance isn't really thinking about those people at all. It doesn't matter to him. He's been brought out and taken care of, and he's on to the next. And Snake Plissken's like, you know what? I'm going to burn it all down. I don't care anymore. I'm going to switch the tapes because this guy's a jerk. He doesn't really care. And it was the same vibe in that scene. Bill Burr is like, so yeah, a lot of people died, lost their lives. It was the same vibe. What do you think about that? Do you ever think about it? Because I think about it every day of my life. And
I think that was the best episode of the season, the one that you're referring to. I directed by Rick Fuji.
Yeah, who directed Dope, the movie Dope.
Yeah. That to me, I think, obviously those two other episodes have huge, like, nostalgic, thank God, finally we get to see this type of moments. But that particular episode seemed like it had the deepest kind of character development. And it had that tension scene, like from Inglourious Basterds that you're referring to.
Yeah.
It was very well done, that episode.
I mean, I think it's, I think in our minds, because I saw Empire Strikes Back 26 times in the theater when it first opened. I sat in the same seat. I saw it at the UA 150 in Seattle on the corner of 6th and Blanchard. They blew up the theater, but it was a great theater. It's where I saw Star Wars and Empire and Buckaroo Banzai and Alien, and the next door theater I saw Dawn of the Dead. And Empire to me was high art. I mean, I loved Star Wars when it came out, but to me, Empire was what elevated Star Wars to the next level, because Star Wars could have been a one-off. And at the time, the last sequel, you had like Rocky 2 and Jaws 2, and The Godfather 2 was like the creme de la creme of sequels. Were never considered to be great. And when Empire came out, they didn't know if it was going to be great or not. And if you read Rinsler's Making of Empire book, the production was very difficult. It went over budget. They had weather issues in Norway. At one point, they weren't going to be able to make payroll, and Gary Kurtz had to go get a loan. The Bank of America wouldn't give him a loan. He went to the Bank of Boston to get a loan, and Fox said to them, hey, as long as you give us the merchandise rights back, George, we'll finance the movie, no problem. And George was like, no way. And Gary Kurtz got that payroll funded, and Empire, the rest is history. But that was not an easy movie to make. But I remember sitting there. It's hard to explain to people what it was like having only one Star Wars movie and loving it. And then when you went to see a second Star Wars movie, like, you didn't know. I was like, are the special effects going to be as good? Like, I didn't know.
Experience too.
Yeah, you had
completely different experience.
Totally
Hey,
different.
real quick,
Great, but
we broke 25K.
25K, baby.
Wow.
Robert, it blew my little 11-year-old mind, because it was such a different movie. They got their asses handed to them. It was kind of creepy.
In the beginning of the movie too.
Yeah. I mean, it was right there. You're like, oh, whoa, they just won a little battle. And it elevated it to something. That's why it's one of the greatest science fiction movies ever made.
I agree.
Part of a trilogy. And you mentioned Gary Kurtz, a guy who, I mean, we know this is a name you and I knew when we were kids, because I mean, these guys were rock stars to us.
Yep.
Right. But still, a lot of people don't know how instrumental that guy was in making Star Wars great. Those A New Hope and Empire was Gary Kurtz. A lot of Gary Kurtz.
And Gary, you probably remember this too. The idea of how movies were made, like, you never really, because there was no making of shows. And I remember as a kid watching the making of Star Wars that was hosted by Mark Hamill. And they started out showing footage from movies like The Thief of Baghdad and Metropolis. And they brought you this sort of up to the point where Star Wars was made. And seeing the behind the scenes footage of like the land speeder floating on an arm, this big metal arm, and how it would spin around like a merry-go-round on that rig. And then watching the Millennium Falcon, that one shot of when it was landing in the Death Star Bay and they're pulling the model out and it's the blue screen. I'm like, this is amazing. And it wasn't just the movie, it was the whole process of making movies, buying the Star Wars sketchbook, buying the Ralph McQuarrie portfolio, and all of those things. I still have my Carol Titleman, the hardcover of The Art of Star Wars, and all of that stuff. And the process of movie making, to my young mind, was like, I already love movies, but the idea that you could actually, that people made these things as opposed to them being conjured by the great creator of the universe and splashed on a screen, that it was men and women that made these movies. And I was like, I could be one of them, and this was a huge huge thing in my life. And then it was even more so with Empire because there was even more material on the making of the film available. I mean, I remember I bought the soundtrack album, the RSO soundtrack album for Empire. The double album came out a week before the movie opened. So I had bought that album and had listened to it a million times. And I'm like, where does the Imperial March, that was the first track on side 2 of the record. And I'm like, where does this show up in the movie? And I listened to the Imperial March 100 times before I saw the film. And when they cut to that scene with the Star Destroyers and you hear the Imperial March, I lost my stuff in the theater. I couldn't, it was amazing. And then you saw the way Vader's Star Destroyer, 20 miles long. If you thought, well, 1 mile Star Destroyer was big, wait till you see this. And it was mind-blowing. It was mind-blowing. It was like, this is the greatest thing ever. And Empire introducing, remember the first time you saw the AT-ST? You're watching the AT-ATs attack, and then there's just the AT-ST, like, wait, what? Where'd that come from?
It was a little one. Yeah.
It was amazing. I mean, it was just everything. The Rebel transports, the ion cannon, the TIE bombers, the twin pod cloud cars. I mean,
Cloud City, the whole Cloud City,
all of it.
The Falcon coming in. Oh my God!
It was
moving. And then we have nothing to compare it to. You look at other movies that came out that were contemporary, like Flash Gordon. I love Flash Gordon, but that movie came out, same damn year, right?
Yep.
So as Empire, they look like they came out 20 years apart. Oh no, dude, you're taking me back there, man. That's what it was like, and we got more toys out of it. You're right. We got more books. We got the little storybooks that were narrated, right?
The Walt Simonson Marvel comic adaptation was dope.
Oh,
I mean, that artwork was so good.
The Sunday comics that went along with that. And there's a collection of those it's hard to find. It's hard as hell to find. It's 3 volumes in color. It's so good.
And even the toys, Kenner stepped up their game. Remember getting the Snowspeeder toy that actually sat 2 figures and it was reasonably properly proportioned?
Yep.
That was an awesome toy. I mean, even the twin pod cloud car toy was properly proportioned. I love that. I had to get 2 twin pod cloud car pilots because there had to be 1 in each pod.
Yeah.
Those are the days. Those are the days.
Long gone. Yep. Anyway, we would look forward to getting, this is going to make us sound really old, Robert. We'd get our catalogs, our little Sears catalogs. That's how we got to see all the new Star Wars toys, was through these catalogs that came like once a year.
Yeah. In September. And you page through it for months. I mean, it's
you guys didn't have Amazon?
It's different size.
No, actually, Ryan, before there was this thing called Amazon, we went to this place called The Store to buy it.
The Sears catalog.
Toys R Us. Is that what you're talking about?
And the
anymore.
Yeah, the company that Disney killed. Yeah. Toys R Us.
Canada still has Toys R Us.
We still got Toys R Us floating around here and there.
It was those are the days, man. Yep. No, but and Empire, that was when you would get your Bantha tracks and you're like, what new merch? And that the crew patch for Empire with the Vader and the flames underneath that they wore on the jackets. That crew patch that they made.
I want that freaking jacket.
Dude, that jacket that came out last year. I tried to, they were gone. I was like,
like a second.
I wanted one so bad. The Empire Strikes Back.
I wonder if eBay is selling them.
Probably extremely overpriced.
Like $20,000.
Yeah, like $1,000 or something, but worth it. I live in Southern California still, so it's like I don't know when I'd wear one. But man, if I still lived in Seattle, I would have to own that jacket. When I saw that, I was salivating.
Here we go.
Because you saw that in the making of, all those dudes on the glacier in Norway when they're shooting, they wore that jacket and it looked exactly like with the same patch. Yeah. I want that.
It's on eBay right now for $950 US.
$950.
Yeah.
What size? Let's see.
Robert, somewhere in my collection that's packed up in my garage because I'm leaving California is a piece of wood and a film canister that's kind of half, rusted out, that I went with my friend's brother out to Yuma, and we went out into the desert and we combed the desert and we found pieces of stuff everywhere.
What?
It was still there. Yes. When they blew up the barge, when they did all this stuff, when they were filming out in Yuma, you could still go out and find it. He had somebody who worked on the film. He had a friend. This was an older brother. I was like 10. So I've just gotten into a
that's so
car and went somewhere. And like my mom had no idea I was driving all the way to the Yuma Desert. She just thought I was like in town here in Southern California. And no, he took us all the way out to Yuma, and we combed the desert. And we found like little pieces of trash and a film canister. And I had to beg him to give me that because I'm like, come on, man, give me something. He was keeping everything. So I've got that. And
you didn't find any pieces of Bib Fortuna out there, did you?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
That's how we knew he survived. There you go.
Other things.
How the hell did he survive?
Dunes, it was in that dirt part of the desert.
It's funny. He actually survived. Like Bib Fortuna, that's again from Legends. Tales from Jabba's Palace. It tells like this whole story about how Bib Fortuna was actually trying to kill Jabba this entire time and wanted to take over his empire. And so he actually had a speeder on the barge. And as soon as he saw everything going down, he like took off and went back to Jabba's palace to like put in a plan all these things that happened. However, when he got there, he actually got stopped by the monks that inhabit the Jabba's palace. It's just their brains walking around in these like spider legs, and they killed him and turned him into one of those monks. So he didn't last very long after the coup.
Did any of you did you read, Ryan? Did you read Tales of the Bounty Hunters?
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you remember how IG-88 was about to take over the Death Star 2 when it blew up?
Yes.
I love that story. I was like, poor IG-88.
They have such incredible stories that they like kind of threw away, and now they're starting to retell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how Boba returned, right? That's straight from there. They did these little hints when they did Chuck Wendig's Aftermath novel, like, oh, the Jawas, that's how Cobb Vanth got.
Did you make it through that?
I made it through the first one. I didn't read any after that. It was just
get through the first half of that.
When after I read the tie went wibbly wobbly, it careened herkily jerkily. I'm like, why is Chuck Wendig writing Star Wars?
Yeah.
But so I read the first one. I didn't feel the need to read any after that. But and now they, because they wanted to move on from all these characters. They didn't want to use these characters. They wanted to give us all these new ones. They realized that we hate the new ones, so they're going back to the old ones. They're reaching back to these stories that have been popular for a long time and retelling them. And the way they go about it, is kind of up to your determination whether they're doing it the right way or not. I have my feelings, but a lot of people are digging what they're doing with Star Wars right now.
What do you think the odds are that somebody's going to sneak in a Hoojib from the Marvel comic series? I want a Hoojib to show up, just maybe in the background, or Jackson.
You want the rabbit? You want Jackson?
Yeah, I want the rabbit. Just somewhere in the background.
I wouldn't put it past them. They're doing a lot of little things like that in the backgrounds of these. When they're like, hey, we need to populate this cantina with things. What should we do? Well, let's take this person who appeared in A New Hope in the cantina there. Let's make him still there, still drinking at the bar. Let's take this person, random story from the EU. And again, Favreau said it himself that, they want to pull everything together. They want to combine. They want to tell the story of the First Order. They want to pull stuff from the EU. They want to pull stuff for original fans. They want to pull stuff for prequels fans of the Clone Wars. And that's what we have. And we were kind of talking about The Mandalorian, how we feel about it. Like, to me, when I first heard about The Mandalorian, what I thought it would be was going to be a story about a dark hero kind of making his way in the universe and discovering more of his heritage. And after that first episode, when we see he does a job, he comes back, he gets paid, he gets a piece of his armor. I thought the whole season was going to be him doing jobs, exploring the Outer Rim, learning more about the state of the galaxy as he discovers more about his heritage. And that's truly what I feel like it should have been. And that's kind of the story that I really wanted. And I think what it became was them realizing we need this to be the biggest thing ever. We need to hit it out of the park. So then you go from a story like that to, well, now Mandalorian has met Boba Fett, Bo-Katan, R2-D2, Ahsoka Tano, Luke Skywalker, and he's met a Yoda species, like all in the span of a little while. So to me, it really shrinks the universe a little bit. And it's obviously got great reception. So they chose the right path, evidently. For me, that's been one of my kind of criticisms. Is it's making the galaxy pretty small, and I kind of wanted a story without all these characters. Just tell me something in Star Wars like original and great to let us discover more about the state of the galaxy. And we got bits and pieces of that in episode 7, like you said. They address, they have that great scene where Bill Burr and they're rolling through, and he's talking about, New Republic, Empire, doesn't matter to these guys. It's the same to them. And then you have these pirates kind of attacking that, trying to destroy that because they're ripping apart their homeworld, and they kill a bunch of them. The stormtroopers shoot all those guys down that you just try to make them feel sympathy for. And you never really address the fact that they just killed all those people that are just trying to protect their homeworld. And then you have the scene where you're like, okay, the Empire, they're kind of good people. I understand what you're doing here. You're trying to make us understand that there's a lot of people in the Empire who are just along for the ride. They're good people. They celebrate just like our rebels did when they blew up the Death Star, that kind of celebration. Yeah. And then Bill Burr has that speech. And then what happens next? They're just shooting them and killing them. And Bill Burr turns around and blows up the entire thing. You know what I mean? So yeah. It's like they take these steps to make you feel something. They kind of go back to the way they were telling the story before.
Well, I kind of like it in that sense, because it's like you empathize with, you get this different view of the Empire. Like, okay, these guys are also humans too. But then it's like, okay, but don't forget, they're kind of jackasses. All right. So it's like, all right, I'll humanize you for a bit, and then I'm going to blow up your base. Right. And the whole thing with what you said with Luke, how you think it makes it more of a small universe. I kind of feel like it may do that for the moment, but it's going to expand it so much more, because now we have a divergence of the main characters were, Din and Grogu, and now Din is on his own with Bo, and they're going to go do something with Mandalore, which is going to take them further out through the universe. And then now Luke and Grogu, we're going to have to follow their story, and they're going to go off who knows where. So I feel like in the long run, it'll make it bigger. But right now, I could see how you're saying it's small.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to make a point. 27.5. My goodness,
that's crazy.
I think what Lucasfilm's very good. Disney Star Wars, is very good at is luring people in, and I think some of us are going to be very skeptical about things. I hope we're dead wrong about a lot of stuff. My feelings on The Mandalorian is it could play out being just another Force Awakens and give us some anticlimactic moments. Again, I hope it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't bother me either way personally, because my emotional, anything I had emotionally with Star Wars is gone because of The Last Jedi, and it's going to take a lot more to earn it back, if it even comes back for me. But I'm glad for, that Mandalorian is making a lot of people happy. It's a very simple show. It needed to be simple, and that they're doing the right thing, I guess. In that, I don't know if it's going to be the Disney way. We're going to find out when WandaVision comes out. If every Disney Plus show is going to be like random times, 20 minutes, 45 minutes. So if they have a plan and they set up this universe and they actually stick to their plan, and I don't know, maybe treat their audience a little better too, the entirety of their audience. And I think they, through you, Star Wars Theory, and through the Return of Luke Skywalker, they were sent a message that a lot of people were trying to say for a long, long time. But this message got sent on an emotional level, which is it's honestly it's a better way to connect with people. And maybe that perked up some ears, and hopefully they will learn from that and, stay away from the things that hurt Star Wars, which is, not even telling a story. How many people are going to remember in the future that The Mandalorian and The Fall of Skywalker, I refuse to call it The Rise of Skywalker, came out at the same time, which was the first time we had Star Wars on television ever, and a Star Wars in a theater. And it was just a complete memory in a month. People had already forgotten about that movie. I had to watch part of it again for a review I'm doing, because it's hard to explain. But watching The Rise of Skywalker is like watching an episode of Star Trek Discovery. If you ever don't want to watch Star Trek and want to know what it's like, it's
here we go.
Fall of Skywalker.
Here we go. We're going to talk about Star Trek. Robert, do you want to tell my audience who maybe isn't familiar with you about your background? I'd love for them to know more about you.
Just let me hop on one quick thing, just to hop on what Nerdrotic just said, because I actually agree with him pretty extensively with what he was talking about. I just hope that these people that are controlling Star Wars, and I think Discovery is also guilty of this, to stop making it such an extreme reflection of the current kind of socio-political climate, because
Couldn't agree more.
because with Star Wars you have this born out of this hero's journey monomyth DNA, which is a timeless mythology that all kind of civilizations can relate to, right? It's like it has those elements, and to keep digging in on that is why so many people get so philosophical with Star Wars, because it has all these universal themes, And with Star Trek, it was always about the future, and like the best version that we can become. It was never so reflective of the period that we live in right now. And I think that hurts it, because it makes it responsible to things that might change over time and not be as important tomorrow. Where Star Wars and Star Trek both have that timeless quality that I think is in peril.
It is in peril. And, we as fans, a lot of us were trying to point that out through the narratives, and we were getting, we got attacked for it, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. But part of my background, I used to own, I'm a lifelong fan. Star Wars and comic books changed my life as a wee little boy. I'm 51 years old, so I was 70. I was 7 when Star Wars came out, and I got to see it in the theaters. I owned a comic shop in San Francisco for 10 years. So the conversation we're having right now, what Robert and I were doing, I was doing that every day for a decade, 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, having just, which I got paid for that too, which is just criminal. It was brilliant.
It's the greatest thing ever.
It is. And I got to talk about comic books, and I got to hear every fan's opinion on everything for a decade. And the one commonality is passion, especially people who come to a comic store once a week to drop ungodly amounts of money on paper. But they also want to stay in the shop for like an hour, 2 hours, some all day. Some would come in and I had to start putting couches in the shop. So people can have a place to sit and hang out. And that's what fandom is. We always argue, we always bicker. Sure, there's always politics and everything. But it was never a place that tried to divide you on the level that we have seen over the last few years with these major corporations taking over the things we love. We have been called entitled. We have been called toxic fans. We've been called everything under the sun, when we are the reason we made it worth $1 billion. That's why Star Wars is worth $1 billion, because of everybody in this chat, because of Star Wars Theory, because of Drunk 3PO, because of Jeremy, because of Ryan. We love this stuff. We always love this stuff. Look at our rooms. These aren't people who hate things. These are people who love things.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
And Mark has a wall. I mean, it's just a white wall.
We know Mark loves things, though. We do. And
my apartment is like this vast cavern white space.
He's living in Kanye's The Sunken Place. Is that where you're at right now?
That's what he's got.
I actually moved. I don't talk about this too much, but I actually left California, and I live in Miami now.
Good.
And,
Hey, well, Drunk 3PO, he's happy.
And I like moved to this apartment that has so much space that it has like this crazy boom. It's like living inside a guitar.
Wow.
I gotta get garage and stuff.
Yeah, I'm on my way out too, Mark. So
yeah, I feel you. Why, Drunk 3PO lives in South Florida?
I used to live in Miami. I just moved to Orlando.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
What high school did you go to, if you don't mind me asking? You're like a Miami guy?
Ely? Yeah.
I've never heard of that one. But anyway.
I've been to
Are
Miami.
you Cuban? Are you a Cuban dude?
A little bit.
A little bit?
I'm a school teacher. That's not the same. But my Spanish is not that great. So
Are you Cuban?
better in your English.
Who, me?
Yeah. No, I'm not Cuban. No.
Did you want me to say? You said.
Yeah. Well, we started talking about Star Trek, and a lot of people, I'm sure, here, and I would love to learn more about your Star Trek background. I mean, there's only so much I can learn from Google, but yeah.
Well, I was a lifelong, like Gary, a lifelong fan since I was a little kid. I started watching Star Trek when I was, 5. I grew up with Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, reading horror novels and Stephen King and comic books and all that. And when there were things like Star Wars was the beginning, like I loved my favorite film until Star Wars came out was War of the Worlds. And then it was the original from 53. Then it was Logan's Run, which I saw in the theater. Then it was, Star Wars, and it changed my life. And at the dawn of the home video era, in the late 70s, early 80s, I started to get very serious about wanting to make movies. And I had a Super 8 camera, and I was making action figure movies with my Star Wars figures and all that. And but Star Wars I loved Star Wars, but Star Trek was my first love. But they all went hand in hand. Like you never thought, well, I like Star Trek better than Star Wars. To me, they were just different. They both took place in outer space, and I loved the mythologies, and I loved the toys and all that. But then I moved to Los Angeles for college. I came down after my junior year. I was going to college in Washington State, and I went to USC to film school there. And then after I got out of film school, I got a job and worked on my first film. I got my first screen credit on Leatherface, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. And I was the art department assistant. And then I started this career sort of bouncing through the entertainment business. I worked for Full Moon Entertainment and edited my first movie, which was Arcade. I was the assistant editor, but I worked as I read screenplays. I was a PA. I worked in makeup effects. Like I worked on the Swamp Thing TV series. I worked on a movie called Sleepwalkers that Mick Garris directed that was based Stephen King's first original script. So I did a lot of bouncing around the film scene in Los Angeles. And then in 94, 95, I started writing for Sci-Fi Universe magazine and meeting a lot of other, it's kind of like what the internet is now, but it was back in LA. It was Chris Gore at Film Threat. And then it was like all these people that have now gone on to work in the industry. We all wrote for Sci-Fi Universe. That was kind of the cool geek magazine to write for. Yeah. And as a result of that, I met Mark Altman, and we one day I was working on, I was hired once as a Star Trek consultant for Viacom back in like 95. So they literally, because I had made this video that they found, it was just a montage video, but they hired me. And then I got hired to work on the Star Trek experience in Las Vegas. There used to be this $80 million Star Trek attraction that was kind of like Galaxy's Edge before Galaxy's Edge was Galaxy's Edge. Really cool.
So I actually been there. So, you have one person that actually walked through it.
Yeah, it was amazing. And the ride thing, and I cut videos for that. And while I was working on that, Rick Berman, who ran Star Trek, had to approve my videos. And this video, it was a 5-minute masterpiece that I had made that had every single thing about the original series that I loved. Every time Dr. McCoy said, I'm a doctor, not a moon shuttle conductor, or whatever. Every girl, every alien woman that Kirk kissed, every planet. And it came back and they said, this is too long. And it was only like 5 minutes. Make it shorter. And I was so mad that I told Mark Altman about this. And I'm like, we should make a movie about how much we love Star Trek. And so we did. So Mark and I wrote this script called Free Enterprise. It was originally called Trekkers, where we basically wrote ourselves. We didn't even change our names. Mark and Rob were the characters. And in the script, we befriend William Shatner, and he becomes our friend. But William Shatner is not, he's this crazy drunk. Like, he's not Captain Kirk. He's kind of this schleppy guy that isn't what we thought he would be. And so we wrote this. We didn't know William Shatner. We just wrote it and thought it was funny. And then we started shopping around, and we raised the money to make this movie. And then through this long, convoluted process, William Shatner kept saying no to us. We'd write these tear-stained letters saying, but Mr. Shatner, we have the money. Please be in our movie. And he said no. And then eventually we were able to convince him. And so it came out in 1979 on June 4th, 1979, 1999. And we won a lot of film festival awards. And it was like, it came out, if it had come out 5 years later, I'd have a much bigger career. It came out before the internet, so we couldn't promote it. But we did. We got to make a movie. Eric McCormack, who played Will on Will and Grace, is in it. Deborah Van Valkenburg, who was in The Warriors, is in it. And Shatner played himself. And it was pretty amazing. So it had its world premiere in Spain. And so I made this film. And you can find it. there's a version of it that's not. It's really an unfinished version that's on Amazon. But if you go to my own YouTube page, the Burnett Work, and you go to videos or playlists, it's the second playlist down, and you can see clips from the actual movie itself. And so I did that, and then I went on and was a producer on Agent Cody Banks and Agent Cody Banks 2. And I, at the same time, I was also working on DVD special edition material. And I produced the DVD special editions of X-Men and X2. I worked on Lord of the Rings. I made a feature-length documentary on Tron, worked on Chronicles of Narnia. So I would go live in New Zealand for a year and shoot behind the scenes of how all those movies were made. And so I worked on Lord of the Rings for 2.5 years, and we were in New Zealand for months at a time. So if you have the Lord of the Rings extended edition discs, I worked on it with a team. It wasn't just me, but it was a team of people that made those special features. And then I did that, but also produced films. I produced a horror film called The Hills Run Red that came out on Blu-ray this year, 2020. And then same thing. But the thing is, I've never been as successful as I might have wanted to be because I'm a fan. So I would be like, oh, I can go work on a DVD of this and do these special features instead of nose to the grindstone. And then I did things like I was working on the Axanar, if people know about the Axanar Star Trek film, the fan film. So I worked on Prelude to Axanar, which went really well. We crowdfunded Prelude and we made it. And it was 3.5.
Did you finish Axanar? You never got to make it, right?
No. The first short film, Prelude, the 20-minute short film, we crowdfunded. We asked for $10,000. We got $100,000, and we finished it. Christian Gossett directed it, who created the Red Star comics, and it came out of Comic-Con, and it was great. And then based on that, we ended up making like $1.5 million, and then he left. It just turned into a huge cluster F. And
Theory, that movie that he's talking about, that Axanar, is kind of like the Vader fan film of like Star Trek.
Is that the one that got shut down?
Yeah.
Well, if you see Prelude,
they were raising like $1 million or something.
Yeah, that was us. And
wow, I didn't know this.
Yeah, and it was.
Hey, real quick, we're less than $600. We're less than $600 from 30K. What?
Guys, get your donations in, man. We're almost at $30,000.
Sorry,
Robert, 99 cents, man. Throw it in.
Jeez,
you're helping a lot of very sick kids who don't have anything.
In 100 minutes, 29,000, or now we're less than 500 now.
And there was someone in the chat earlier that said that St. Jude, they had a rare form of eye cancer, and that St. Jude actually cured it. And the person in the chat said they do exactly what they say they are going to do. And I've always heard that about St. Jude. It's one of the most reputable charities, and they really do help. They've helped so many kids. But I just read this in the chat that someone had said
it's about to happen.
Less than 200.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Oh, snap.
Let's see it. $8.
$8.
Brett Morrison said, how much for me to say roll tide?
Awesome.
There it is.
Oh,
30 grand.
damn, really?
That's awesome.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
That's incredible. Now, was that the goal for today?
Well, it started at 10,
out
I think,
10.
wasn't it?
It started at 10. In theory, extended it to 20, then extended it to 30. Wow.
Why not go to 50?
Wow.
Yeah, it does just keep going, Theory.
Yeah.
So.
That's amazing, man. I'm very, very proud of this group. That's really cool.
That's unbelievable.
And everybody in the chat, you're just as much a part of this as all of us. Like, this is a complete team effort here. This is amazing. So,
And is everybody donating now? I mean, like, I know people are losing their businesses, they're losing their jobs. We've all been locked down. So for you guys to do that when it's probably not the easiest time for you makes it even that more special. So thank you guys.
It's amazing.
And I will give out a roll tide since we hit that mark. So there you go to whoever said that in the chat. Roll tide.
Is that a Crimson Tide thing from the movie?
No, that's the college football.
It's Alabama.
It's sports ball, nerd boy.
But yeah, that's why Crimson Tide, the submarine from the movie.
Yeah.
Alabama.
Yes.
That's what I
Yeah.
got.
Roll
And
Tide.
there's a piece of Hans Zimmer's score that's roll. It's called Roll Tide. That's the
Yes.
theme for the movie.
Love
I'll
Crimson
say,
Tide.
even raising 30 grand for people helping children with cancer, I don't know if that's going to be enough for me to utter my sport opponents like that. There's no way. We got to hit at least 100 grand or something. I can't believe you just did that, Nick.
Yeah, well, it's for a good cause, and yeah. So, Robert, I'm actually with the other team of the state in Alabama, Auburn.
Oh.
Jeremy is an Alabama guy, so
We're playing the
yeah,
national championship tomorrow.
yeah.
That'd be
Love
like
it, man.
Yeah, it'd be like George Lucas, saying "Live long and prosper" or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
exactly.
I don't want you guys to do that. I don't want to go that far.
Hey,
I
didn't
think we should
end the
send
High
it-
Republic live stream with the Live Long and Prosper. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Claudia Gray.
We
Claudia
need
Gray
to,
did that.
in celebration, I think Ryan needs to play that George Lucas clip again for the chat that didn't see it. I think that's the best way to celebrate right there.
All right, I'll
If-
find it.
If you didn't see this earlier, you're about to see greatness. This is how we celebrate raising 30K for St. Jude's. How else on the biggest Star Wars channel to bring in the man that created Star Wars? Such a funny clip.
I can't believe it, dude. That's not what I expected. Guys, I know we hit our mark, but I mean, keep donating. It all goes to them, 100%.
Edward Coleman says if Jeremy says War Eagle, he'll donate $100.
Not happening. Edward Coleman always does this to me. Every time I live, this is everybody wants to know why did I stop live streaming? Is because Edward Coleman kept super chatting me just so I would say that. So that's the one reason. If you guys want to, everybody wants to, why does Geeks and Gamers never live stream? That's why, because of Edward Coleman. If we hit 31K in the next 5 minutes, I'll say it. How about that?
Where's this donation button at? Well, hang on, let me grab my phone.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a little bit.
Yeah, because we're gonna me and Ryan are gonna have to bounce here in a minute because we got a stream that we're doing on Twitch. So I'm
Yeah, he
glad
forgot
we were
about
able
me.
to-
I have to go.
I just want to leave you here because you're the eye candy for everybody. So we gotta.
So,
All right,
one quick question for everybody, because I was really interested in your 28 times you saw Empire. What's the movie that you guys have seen? 26. What's the movie that you guys have seen in the theater the most times?
For me, it's The Dark Knight Rises 11, and I saw it 11 times because I saw The Dark Knight 10 times, and I just wanted to see The Rises 11 times.
Jesus.
Mine was Rogue One. I saw it 9 times in the theater.
Cool.
Mine was Revenge of the Sith. I think I saw it 8 times, and that's my favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah, that's cool.
Revenge of the Sith is amazing. We got any prequel fans here?
No.
Nah.
How many times have you seen Star Wars, Robert?
I like Revenge of the Sith.
I saw Star Wars 11 times in the theater, but that was not first run. There was re-releases of Star Wars, so I'd gone back to see it.
Yeah.
Okay. If you, I'm holding you all.
31K.
I'm
You
holding
gotta
you
say
all
it.
personally accountable if
Come on.
Alabama
Blow 'em up.
loses tomorrow night. Okay.
Blow him up, Theory! Blow him
Blow him
up!
up, Gary.
Mine's a tie. I seen episode 1 like 3 times.
Okay.
Everybody
again,
clip this right here too.
Holding you all personally accountable.
The kids, man.
For the children.
We're gonna edit all that. You know, it's just gonna be a highlight of what you say right now.
For the children, War Eagle.
Yay! Yeah.
Good job. Way to go.
Oh my god.
I lost so much respect for you.
I don't even know what that means.
Wait, are you implying that you had respect
for him
before?
anyway, right?
Yeah, did you have any to begin with?
Well, it was at like negative 1,000. Now it's negative 1,200, I suppose. So,
That was great.
Oh, man.
My most times in a theater for Star Wars were Phantom Menace and New Hope Special Edition tied for 3 times.
Okay.
And then my most times in a theater are also a tie. That was like Dumb and Dumber and I think Ninja Turtles 2 or 1. Can't remember. But those were like 6 or 7 times each. It was like there's no.
Secret of the Ooze was
I saw Empire
or whatever it was called.
over 13 times, but it played for a calendar year. And
Yeah.
I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark probably almost 40 times.
Wow.
Because it played for a year and a half.
I grew up in Seattle, and it played for 66 weeks.
Wow.
They, as a matter of fact, this past summer, it was May, it was the 40th anniversary, and the Seattle Times did a lot of coverage and interviewed. I sent in my story, but they didn't use it. But a lot of people were interviewed that were there, and it was the kind of thing where we would go back like every weekend. Like I would get up and I'd have to sit in the same seat, so I'd have to get up like 6 a.m. and take the bus to the theater, and the first show was at noon. So we'd have to be first in line, because if I didn't get the seat, my same seat, there would be hell to pay. So I had to get there early. But
took a bus to the theater. I did the same thing. The theater was in the Oceanside, so it was like miles away from me. And so, did you do the double dip? I just stayed in the theater.
No, we could. They were really strict about that. You couldn't do. Otherwise, I would have sat there all day.
Well, I had the problem of
Gary
you could
the
only go
Rebel.
see one movie one night because we had a small theater, so it was only showing one movie, and they only had one showing a night. So you can only see it the 3 times, and that was it.
I hate to cut, but me and Jeremy do have to go and get over to the Twitch stream for some Mario Kart. But I want to say,
I'll let you go first, Ryan, and I'll join you because I know you got to get everything set up. Go ahead, there, Ryan.
Part of the team.
Yeah, you can come too, Jay. You can come too. I just didn't know if you wanted to stay here.
You're going to play COD tonight, right? With me later?
Yeah.
On the
Yes.
game?
Yep.
Go ahead, Ryan.
There you go. I just wanted to say one thank you to everybody in chat, because it is insane what the Star Wars fandom can do in just under 2 hours. That's absolutely insane. And a big shout out to Theory for putting this all together, for Jay for making this whole thing really happen, to be honest with you. And it's awesome, man. Thanks for having me on the channel. I really appreciate it. Everybody here has different perspectives about Star Wars, and that's what makes fandom awesome.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
appreciate you having me, man. Everybody here, thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks, Ryan. Have fun, man.
Baby boy.
Catch you soon.
I too have to go as well. I have to go do a podcast, a professional thing.
we hit our goal. So if you guys do your thing, it's
Robert, it's always nice to have you on. I'm gonna hang for a few minutes, Theory. So if anybody else wants to wrap,
I just wanted to say, I have it here. I have my mother is a cancer survivor, so I've always had this. I got this. It's for breast cancer. When I bought it, it was to donate and I think that using Star Wars to raise money for cancer research, and it has always been a good thing. It's been something in my life for a while. So I too want to thank everyone in the chat for participating and donating. And it's great to see fandom has a long tradition of coming together to do this kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And again, I want to thank everybody for letting me participate last night and tonight. And I think this is what fandom does best. And it's really, really cool that you guys put this together.
I agree. I think it doesn't matter where we come from or what our beliefs are. We can all get together and fight against the bigger evil, which is cancer, which we all share. Most of us share a story with, which is never good.
Yeah. So I will see you guys later, but I look forward to doing this again.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much.
See you, Rob. Good to see you, Fernandez.
I'm going to bow out as well now.
All right, man.
Sorry. But thanks for having Theory. It was an honor being on, guys. A lot of these guys I see a lot. And it's nice being on with you, Mark and Nick. Dude, Thank you for your support. Leia's Lair, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Everyone out there, thank you again for donating again in these times. Yes, cancer has touched us all. And I lost, for my pops, for Arvin, who passed away 20 years ago, right before Christmas. There's not a day that doesn't go by I don't miss him. And I watched him go through that. So I can't imagine a child going through that. That is the worst nightmare. So if we're helping in any way ease that nightmare a little bit, we all did a very good thing today. So thank you again so much, Theory. And I
thank you, man.
Yeah,
return the favor someday. So take care.
Good stuff. See you, Gary.
See you, Gary.
My brother, Gary. So.
Take care, brother.
All right.
I have the best video of Jeremy and Gary in New York in one of the little pull cart cabs playing some music. I'm not going to play it on here because it get copyrighted.
Yeah.
But
I don't care, man.
But it is freaking hilarious. If you want to check it out, go on our channel and look for it. You will die.
It is so funny. and yeah, it was raining. That was at Comic-Con. That was an experience right there. And then we got done, and it was like, I don't remember, for a few blocks, this guy was charging us like $300. And we were thinking it'd be like $20. We're like, what? And Gary paid for it all. Gary's awesome.
Nice.
But he's a good dude.
Which one of you guys here have been in New York?
I have.
I know Mark.
Yeah.
I mean, I lived there for 22 years.
Yeah.
I've never been, dude. Looks like a cool city.
It is crazy, man. It's
everything is expensive.
Miami's like
Vegas is a pretty cool place. That's probably the coolest place I've been. Like in terms of just kind of just overwhelmed just to see it. It was pretty incredible. It's not my type of place because I'm not a party person or anything like that, but it's just pretty incredible to go there. But yeah, it's good stuff.
I think you're all going to 2022, yeah.
Yeah, as long as it's happening, I plan on being there for sure.
Yeah, who knows what's going on with the world?
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it'll be cool. We'll all have to get some green milk.
You're ready for green milk? You never told me this before.
No, hell no. No, after that little video that you showed me the other day, I was just laughing my head off, dude.
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Oh, it was a Friday Night Tights. It was Jeremy's stream thing that he showed me.
Oh yeah.
Green milk, dude.
Yeah.
And the noises,
the intro. Shout out to Perry Chan. Shout out to Perry Chan there. Perry Chan always does some great things. Yeah, we are. What time are you going live tonight, Theory, for Call of Duty?
We'll probably wrap up here soon. So I'll probably eat something after this, and I'll go live like an hour after I end the stream.
Okay. All right, and I don't know if you want to, but you're welcome. We can throw you a link if you want to hop on for Mario Kart. You know,
that'd be really fun. Yeah, I got to connect everything, set it up.
Just crossed 32.
32,000. Wow, amazing.
That's awesome.
Nice.
So we're going to be over on Twitch, geeks _and _gamers. If you guys want to go check it out, we play Mario Kart every Sunday.
Definitely adultish.
Yeah, there's definitely some language. I mean, anybody who's ever played Mario Kart knows that's what you do. Call of Duty and Mario Kart, you cuss, and everybody that is that plays better than you, they're a certain name, and if they're worse than you, they're still that same name because that's how video games go. But I do, like, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate Star Wars Theory making this happen. I'm honored to be here. I know that he's kind of like me. When people compliment me, he doesn't like it. But at the end of the day, regardless if he wants to accept it or not, he does have this platform. He does a lot of good with this platform. He's highly respected in the fandom. He's highly respected in the community. He is the guy that, kind of sets the tone. And I'm honored to be on here with him. And I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. This is incredible.
Likewise.
I'm just happy to be a piece to this puzzle, just like every single person. And you're all incredible for making this happen. I never thought we would just knock out $32,000 in less than 2 hours. Truly amazing. And that speaks volumes to the community you've built and everybody in the chat. Unbelievable. So thank you for having me. Pleasure meeting you, Leia's Lair. Mark Fernandez. Not really drunk. I'm tired of streaming with him. I love you, brother. And Drunk 3PO is someone that, when I brought him onto the team, charitable efforts is something that he's really, passionate about. And we haven't announced this yet, but I previously said me and we were going to do something on Geeks and Gamers, me, Theory, and Jay with other people. We're actually going to do this on Drunk 3PO's channel. I just think it works better for Drunk 3PO. He's going to give you guys more announcements. This guy does a lot for charity. He just has a big heart, and him and Theory have a cool little chemistry when we stream on his channel. It just works, and so yeah. But Nick, glad to be on with you, and Tom, I stream with you every other day, even if I don't mean to. That's just what happens. But anyway, have a great night. I'll see you over on Twitch in a little while.
Thanks for coming on, man. Catching you.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
So I gotta leave too. So this is my goodbye.
All right, well, I guess we'll finish the stream, man. I mean, we raised a heck of a lot of money, and you're all dipping out now. So yeah, you don't care about
beautiful.
This is beautiful.
This is beautiful for me.
Thanks, Larry.
Awesome. I told you I didn't even need to be on. Just participate but I appreciate you, man.
I
all
was
of
surprised
you.
to
Mark,
even
Tom,
be thought of. Yeah.
Lance, Lair, Nick. It's just a beautiful family when we fight at Thanksgiving and come together for Christmas. So
Yeah,
kind of
absolutely.
thing. And I'm not gonna get emotional because I'm gonna tell you what movie that I saw the most in the theater, and I'm gonna leave because it wasn't a Star Wars film. It was Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. All right, love you guys.
That's
Well, boys, what do you think? We should end the stream, or what do you feel?
Yeah, man. Thank you so much
Yeah, we
for
can do
inviting
that.
me, bro. It was really
Absolutely.
special.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
And this
Yeah,
is one of my
I love you
favorite
guys.
charities. I mean, I lost a grandma, of course, like you said before. We've all probably lost somebody close to us from cancer, and yeah, I mean, just to be even thought of being a part of this, man, just to meet you and all that stuff has been quite a thrill in the last few days. It's and
Same
the
here.
things you have done for the community have been just amazing, and I think your audience speaks to that right now.
Oh, I appreciate the
And I'm
kind
so
words.
glad to see a lot of our audience had migrated over to help out too. So I want to thank those who I know personally in the chat. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you, Theory, for being here. It's great to meet you, Mark, and Leia's Lair, and of course Nick. I know you and all the rest of the guys except for Jeremy. I don't like him.
Cancel Jeremy.
He
Cancel
wants to
Jeremy.
borrow money from me all the time.
Chat, you can find all of their channels down in the description below. I've linked them all, so feel free to check them out and give them a sub. Great guys.
Awkward silence.
We're at 30. What are we at? 30.
We're all trying not to get emotional right now.
$35,000.
Yo,
That's awesome.
Wow.
that's wicked.
Dude, that's intense.
crazy.
Dude. Jumped
That's a lot
by
of money.
$3,000 like in a minute and a half.
Yeah,
Somebody
what the
must
hell?
have
We
made
were
a
just
big
at 32.
donation then.
How'd
Yeah.
that happen? I think somebody did. I got it.
Yeah, it must have been.
Holy shit! Tammy Perry donated $3,000.
Oh, wow.
Shout out to Tammy.
Wow,
Amazing.
Tammy!
Nice,
Good work.
Tammy.
Holy crap!
A lot of
Well,
kids are gonna
everybody,
get a lot of help because of that, yeah.
I think with that we're gonna close that. I'm gonna leave the. We're all gonna leave, but I'm gonna leave the stream open. So if anyone wants to make some last minute donations for the next few minutes or so, I'll leave it there. But thank you so much, everybody, for joining in and tuning in and donating. Of course, I'm going to do many more of these streams, whether it's $1 we raise or almost $36,000 now. Every little bit counts, and it helps someone who is in need, who isn't that fortunate. So we thank you. We love you all, and we will catch you later. Bye, everyone.
See y'all.
So yeah, thanks, Theory.